Yo, it is July 22nd. It's Henry's birthday today. That's pretty cool. And we're going to an amusement park, so that's a vibe. It's July 22. We dove into John 20 and 21 today. This is the fourth account of, the tomb and the appearances and all. It's the fourth account. John, this is the last one. Then we'll be moving on to Acts probably, so pretty cool. But it's a cool passage. The whole 21st chapter is unique to John. Like, you don't see that anywhere else in the other Gospels, and I guess the other Gospels are synoptic, so it's fitting. But it's cool, a really cool passage. It's one that I see kind of quoted a lot in a lot of different ways, but with Peter and restoring Peter in the faith, and then also the breakfast by the sea. I always love that one, so it's cool. But yeah, let's get right into it. First thing I caught was with Mary Magdalene. She had first gone to the tomb with a couple other women. They saw the tomb rolled aside, and she immediately went and ran to get, ran to come to Simon Peter specifically and to the other disciples. So just both of them, Simon Peter and the other disciple whom Jesus loved, which of course is John, the author, which is cool. It's kind of weird how the author never speaks of himself in the books, just the other disciple whom Jesus loves. Like, that's interesting, but that's how he does it. So whatever. But yeah, she goes and grabs them. They run to see the tomb, and they're like blown away. And then Mary is outside the tomb weeping, and someone, right? She's supposed this someone to be the gardener. That someone said, "Woman, why are you weeping? Who are you seeking?" It's like she thought that was the gardener, just the general gardener around the tomb, whatever it might be, maybe around the like, I'm sure it was a whole area of tombs and people in different tombs, dead people in different tombs, but I'm assuming that's what it was, and they probably had a tender for it all, and that's who the gardener was. But then this gardener, Jesus, says, "Mary," and Mary Magdalene says, "Rabboni," which means teacher. Like, she understood right when this gardener said Mary. She understood. She knew. And what's cool is the note I read on that, I believe in verse 16. Yeah, it quotes John 10:27, which is, "My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me." Such a cool verse. It's always stood out to me. I don't know why, but it always has. And I love how this relates to that. That my sheep, those who follow me and have faith, they hear my voice. I know them. They follow me. Like, it's such a simple verse, but also so deep, and it's so true. We, with the Spirit, we know Christ. Christ knows us, and we follow Christ, and that's our purpose. That's our goal, right? That's what we strive for. So cool, and I love how it relates to that. Sorry. Then we see the apostles commissioned. So this is when, he breathes on them with the receiving the Holy Spirit. That's such a great authority that they receive right then and there, and that Spirit is forever with all other believers, right? With those who have faith, that Spirit is with them. So cool, so cool. And then we get into Thomas, the doubting disciple, right? He would not believe unless he saw Christ's hands with the nail holes in his side, which is pierced. And he said, "If I don't stick my fingers in your hands, and if I don't stick my hand in your side, I will not believe." And Christ says, "Do not be unbelieving, but believing." He lets him do it anyways to strengthen his faith, to prove, right? And then he says, "Thomas, just because you have seen me, you have believed. But blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed." And really there, he's talking about everybody to come after Thomas, to come after the disciples, really. Every believer, everyone who has faith, they're not going to be able to see Christ. Like, Thomas has that privilege and still needs to see him, to believe, right? To prove what is clearly true. That's how, not necessarily, bad, whatever his faith is, but it's an immature faith. He's young in his faith. He's a disciple who's with Christ, but I mean, there's no church yet, so he has no support group, which I'm trying to defend him, but he has Christ with him. He has clear prophecies. No, at that time with the prophecies, no, he didn't have the Spirit with him to comprehend what Christ was saying. But he had these clear prophecies, and then to see these prophecies fulfilled and still not believe when you see Christ, in his glorified heavenly body resurrected with you, to still not believe, it's like, that's a very immature faith. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what my point is there, but it's like, we're called by our faith with the Spirit to believe without seeing. We don't have that same privilege to see Christ, to be with Christ. We don't have that, and he did. So kind of our takeaway there is to believe, exactly that, to believe without seeing, to be strong in our faith in all the ways that we can with this right here, the scriptures. Yeah, that's that. Then we get into, there at the end of chapter 20 is the whole purpose of John, the book of John, that being, these things are written that you may believe that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of God, and that believing you may have life in his name. We saw that that is the whole purpose of John, and that's fully fulfilled, 100% fully fulfilled. And actually, getting into chapter 21, we see at the end, verse 25, that John says there are so many other things that could be written. I suppose that even the whole world itself could not contain the books that could be written about Christ, about what he did, right? And we see that this is selective writing in that way, that he could not put everything into one book, but that he had to select, what was really important, what mattered, and put it into account. An account nonetheless sufficient, right? I mean, this is more than you'd ever need to have a strong faith, this eyewitness account. But again, we cannot see to believe, we need to have faith. But yeah, getting into chapter 21 with the breakfast at the sea. This is a third appearance, where Christ calls them out to draw a whole bunch of fish. Simon actually draws up 153 fish, is what it says. And again, this is all to strengthen their faith. This is the third appearance. This is to strengthen their faith, to, again, I guess, upon his appearance before he ascends, to do exactly that, to just strengthen their faith further. And then verse 15, where Jesus restores Peter, we see the 3 times he says, first, feed my lambs, second, tend my sheep, and third, feed my sheep. And kind of relates to where Peter had forsaken Christ and denying him those 3 times. It's kind of interesting how it relates to that, but it does. And the whole purpose of this is well, the theme, I guess you could say, is dedicating your life, dedicating your discipleship, your time, everything, our temporary life on this earth, to the greatest purpose of Christ, to nurture that great purpose, to fulfill that great purpose, and to fulfill our calling and the Great Commission as believers and as faithgoers and disciples, really, right? And that's what Jesus is calling Peter to do, and he's calling him to follow him, even after he leaves, to follow him. So that's powerful. That is still present to us today, still very valid for us to take on and listen and do, right? The last thing I caught was in verse 22, where he says, Peter's talking about somebody else, like worrying about something else that completely has nothing to do with him. Christ says, if I will that he remain till I come, what is that to you? you follow me. And I think that's powerful. There's something to take away there. That being, we like our worries should literally only be to follow him. Like, seek first the kingdom, all else will be added. Why worry about anybody else, about anything else, about anything in this earth, finances, cars, and where you're gonna live, and who you're gonna marry, right? Forget it all. Seek first Christ, seek first the kingdom, all else is added. Just follow him. That is our sole purpose, that's our sole worry, that's our sole matter to be concerned about. Love it. Absolutely love it. There's the Gospels. John 20, John 21. Good stuff.